Hey guys, it's Alyssa from Alissasbakeshop, and today I'm going to show you how to make some cookies for Mother's Day. So these could really be used for any occasion that you like. The tag doesn't have to say mom on it. You can do it for a birthday, for a party. I just decided to do this for Mother's Day because my mom really likes these cookies, and I know she also likes flowers. So I'm going to go in order. So the first thing that we're going to start with is the vase, which I'm using a mason jar cookie cutter, and I'm just filling it with light blue royal icing, and then before it sets, I'm doing the wet on wet technique and I'm adding some green icing, and these are going to just look like the stems of the flowers. I'm doing the wet on wet technique so it looks like the stems are sort of inside instead of just laying on top. After the first base icing layer has dried, I'm going to go back in with that same color and we're going to add some details just to make our mason jar vases look a little bit more realistic and interesting to look at. I really tried to keep my style still detail oriented, but not too many details that it distracts you from the fact that it's just a cookie. And one thing to keep in mind is that when I am originally decorating the cookies, I don't wait for each cookie to dry in order to do it from start to finish. So for example, while I'm waiting for the base layer of these cookies to dry, I go on and do the base layers for the other shapes that I have. I just like to put it in order in the video so that you guys can see one design from start to finish. Once those blue lines have dried down, we're going to add the last detail, which is just to add on some cute little bows. I love the idea of having a little tag attached to the mason jar that came with the bouquet of flowers. So I looked through my collection and I found this cookie cutter plaque and I decided to go with it. It was pretty simple and I'm just filling it in here with white icing, purposely leaving a hole in one of the ends because that is going to give the appearance that it's a tag. Once that base layer of icing had set for about an hour, I just went back in and I wrote mom on the tags. This is where you can be creative and write whatever message that you like. Next up are the leaves, and I wanted to make them as simple as possible because I really wanted the flowers to be the star of the show. So you can probably tell that I hand cut them because the edges look a bit rough, but I felt like that added texture actually could work to their benefit, so that's why I just didn't smooth them down before baking. I'm going in and I'm filling in half of the leaf and then I let it dry for about 40 to an hour, and that way we're going to have this texture in the middle. So it looks like it's two sides of a leaf and it just gives it some nice added detail. I didn't do things like use multicolor icing or different greens because, like I said, I really wanted the flowers to be the star of the show. I did, however, wanted to add a little tiny bee onto one of the leaves just because my mom loves bees and we support the bees here on this channel. For the flower, I decided to go with this pretty simple daisy shape. I thought that it would be nice just to have one flower instead of multiple, although a bouquet of flowers really would be a cool idea and I still kind of want to try that. But for this, I decided to go simple and just kind of do what I thought my mom would like the most. So I'm doing two different colors. I'm doing yellow and I'm also doing pastel pink. And I just really like these colors. It gives off a very nice spring vibe. After that base icing is dried for about 45 minutes to an hour, I'm going in with the same exact color and I'm just going over the outline of the petals, and this is going to make our flowers look nice and pretty. I wanted to give these flowers some dimension, so first I tried to go in with some powdered food dye and it definitely didn't work. I should have put this on before I added on the petals, but that was in hindsight, so I had to think of something else, and I decided to go with some food gel, and I'm using this yellowy orange color and a food safe brush to just very carefully blot it on. If you want a more subtle color than this bright orange color, I recommend first testing it by doing a drop of yellow food gel and then using a toothpick to add in some orange or some brown just very, very lightly, and then mixing it and then testing it that way. I just kind of went for it. Once I started, I just didn't stop. So this is how we got this orange color, although I do like how the final cookies turned out. I apologize, I do not have a clip of me adding in the green centers. I'm not really sure, my camera just kind of cut out, but after those had dried for a little bit, I went in and I added some white lines just using this icing, and I just thought that it would help to kind of tone down that orange underneath. One thing I've learned making sugar cookies over the years is that you really have to trust the process. The details will really help to pull things together in the end. For the very last detail, I made some stiff icing and added this sort of moss green plus an electric green, and then I went in to just pipe in the centers. I did these little tiny dots all over the centers. This is definitely setting you up for hand cramps, but I really liked how it looked. It just made it look a little bit more realistic, and the two greens on top of each other I thought were also an interesting add. Once they were dried down, I arranged them in this cute way on the table. You could definitely do this in a box for a gift, or you could just do this to have it out at the party. But please remember that the cookies need to be dried 100% because the ones on the bottom will crack from the weight of the ones on the top. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you next time.